Right. Peter, a draw in the end, but a disappointing afternoon.
Just in the manner in which it was a scrap, and we knew coming here at the grass like it was earlier on in the season, it was going to be a scrap and a fight, and Stranraer gave absolutely everything. Play long balls, try and counter attack as quick as possible. We just never, in the first half, controlled the game as much as what we should, and with the centre forwards that we had today. If you're pumping balls in, when we get to a good position to cross, and we cross the ball into the box against 3 or 4 defenders that are big lads, the likes of Freddie, it's got to have to be an unbelievable ball or a really good run for him to get on the end of things. And I felt when we were putting unnecessary balls into the box, they clear it and are in a position to win the second ball and counter attack us, which what happened in the first half. But we had opportunities to shoot, didn't take the opportunities to shoot in the first half. I'd say it was just a frustrating day. Sums it up with the goal we conceded. Really big uncharacteristic error from Ross Stewart, who's been outstanding, one of our best players. So if I'm going to be looking at the really big positive, we made changes. Liam Smith comes on, Cole Burke come on, we push until the end, we get the goal. Liam Smith gets his goal from a Cole Burke cross, so the subs make an impact and we get a draw. I think we're missing at the minute, we're missing a Brennan, a Curtis and Jordan Allen, your three of your first choice centre forwards. So to ask Billy Gray, who's come on at half time, to do a shift against Stranraer, that's where we're at, just with the little bit of injuries we have at the minute. But so frustrating. I think we could have won the battle a bit better, but it suits Stranraer to play that way. We need to be better at that, which we've said over the couple of games. So point in the cup games, hopefully we've got no injuries. We've managed to rest the likes of Brennan Dickinson, I'm sure you could probably ask about, and hopefully we'll have him available next week. It's another week down the line for Curtis, and then see how he is next week. So yeah.
You're saying a frustrating afternoon. Was frustration appearing on that part today as well from players?
Yeah, and we have to manage that because no team's going to give it to you easy at whatever level you play at. The opposition's going to want to fight and scrap for everything they can get and try and upset you. I think when we came here at the start of the season, we had that as well, and we had Curtis Guthrie playing, who played against these, and they were pulling and nipping and pushing and standing on toes and all that, and you can get sucked into that and dragged down if you're a bit clever and can try and bypass that and just add your quality to it. But you've got to win the battle first. So I think Stranraer deserve the credit for just endeavour. There are a couple of players going down with cramp. We need to get to a point where our players give you absolutely everything and run themselves into the ground, and we can make changes. But just the fact that we look at our bench today and our changes are 18, 19-year-olds. So we need to get those couple of injuries back.
We were missing, as you see, Brennan, Jack Hanna, and players like that today. Benji, Curtis, Jordan as well. Yeah. So, but the latest one's Jack Hanna and Brennan.
Yeah. So Jack Hanna, he injured himself last week. Didn't train all week. Hopefully he'll be available for us next week. But having said that, I thought Niall Rogerson was probably our best player today. Defended unbelievably. The fight and the scrap and putting his head in where it hurts. Thought he was excellent. He was calm on the ball as well. So that's a really big positive out of the game today, because this KDM we have made changes in each game because we don't have the biggest of squad, and we've got to put those younger players in. I thought Niall deserves all the credit for today. So again, yes, hopefully we have Jack back next week. But Brennan Dickinson was just feeling a bit stiff. He played 90 minutes last week, back from 8 or 9 months out. We've given him the 20 minutes, the 45 and then the 90, and probably a little bit too much too soon, a little bit tight. So hopefully we'll have him back in training with us next week.
You said Curtis is another week down the line. How are we? How close are we to seeing Curtis and Benji?
Curtis, I'm not sure. We're still waiting, because he has that stress response. It's not a stress fracture, just a stress response that if he kept playing, he would end up with a fracture on his metatarsal. So we just have to wait to buy that time for that to settle down, and once that does settle down with no pain, think as of yesterday he still had a little bit of pain. And then Benji has a bit of swelling on the back of his knee that just came up out of nowhere and seems to be spreading around, so we just need probably a little bit more in-depth look at that. But at the minute we're waiting for an NHS appointment, which can take forever, so maybe we need to try and go down another route to get that looked out and investigated.
It's a point this afternoon, takes us to 7 in this league. Should be enough to get through to the next stages.
Well, yeah, we still need a win. Probably, we're playing Motherwell B and want a win or a point, because when you look into, I think the teams at the minute that are in just below the threshold, I think if they get a win, they'll be on 7 points. But the goal difference, we just make sure that my main focus all the time is that league and having everybody available to us. So today we made it that a few changes, a couple of changes. I took Freddie O'Donoghue off at half time, but I feel a little bit sorry for Freddie as well. Yesterday he was back home in the Isle of Man for a funeral. He wasn't with us yesterday. He travelled back late last night. He travelled late and then coming up here. So again, probably a bit of tiredness from himself. So I took him off. But yeah, we want to try and get through to the next round, which we feel we will. But we just made it a little bit more difficult from us. But I think we've took the opportunity in the cup games to make changes, because our squad isn't the biggest, with the likes of bringing the young players on, whereas other players or other teams have just gone really strong throughout. So that's the choice that they make. It's the choice that we make. We'll see what happens with that.
The league, as you say, is the main focus, and it's Peterhead 5:30 next Saturday night.
Yeah, that's it. It's been changed again. Another cup league game that's been changed to the 5:30, just like the Alaba one. We had that last season. A few games changed for the BBC Alba, but after that, so we play Peterhead late, get back late, and then we have the next Friday night we'll play, so it's a little bit shorter for the recovery with all the travelling. But we'll be looking forward to those two games and getting back into the league action. Hopefully have a couple of players back and ready to go for next week.